To paraphrase the Beastie Boys, one beer till Christmas. I got that Taddy Porter that I was talking to you about from Samuel Smith's old brewery, Tadcaster, the old brewery in Tadcaster, the famous Taddy Porter, product of England. And let's see if there's any kind of interesting things on the bottle. Sole Agents Merchant du Vin Corporation, Seattle, Washington. Okay. Uh, Samuel Smith, Old Brewery, Tadcaster, North Yorks, England. Alrighty, into the legend. And there's a little tiny picture of just a brew kettle. I'm not gonna. A very dark, full-bodied ale with rich, creamy head and an intense, dry, tangy character. Brewed with well water, the original well, sunk in 1758, is still in use. Malted barley, roasted malt, yeast and hops, fermented in stone Yorkshire squares. If you haven't seen that, look it up. It's pretty cool. Uh, Porter is the type of beer first brewed in the early 18th century. It gained its name from being consumed by porters in fish, meat, and produce markets. What are porters? Porters are the guys that load up the goods for y'all, put it in the wagons, send it off to where they bought it from. Look at see if only 5% alcohol by volume on this. So this is one of those that you can drink a couple of and not worry about crashing your. It does have the government warning on here, though. Do not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy and knife throwing, particularly if the knives are on fire. Makes good sense, doesn't it? So, let's use the old Boy Scout knife again to. Really got to get rid of this keychain off of here. It's just driving me nuts. And slip it in under the lid of the bottle. There we go. I'm gonna get out of there. There we go. We've cracked it open, kids. But I didn't even show you the bottle. My God. I'm so out of sorts. Spent most of the day blowing the snow. It was up to my shins. So there's the back of the bottle for you guys. And yeah, I had to, put on the snow pants, the whole thing, and I'm getting like 3/4 of the way done, and I start getting mookie headed, and like, what the hell's going on? I realized I hadn't had anything to eat, nor had I drank any water yet today. So yeah, I'm sort of oblivious to my own health sometimes. So that's not a good thing. Don't do that, kids. Don't walk the path that I walk. Instead, seek your own. So I'm going to put this in a big mug, just generic, because it is more than a pint, as I've said before on these. But I just am not interested in being careful today. And I'd like to get a little bit ahead on this, so I think I'll pour it a little bit more violently at first. Ah, yes. And now I'll do the rest of it down the side so that I'll have some. Buddy once told me the word. No. All right. Perfect pour. Look at that. That is a nice porter. It is not completely dark. I can see tiny bits of light. Like, pilot light in a dark basement. So, let's give it a sniffing glass, see what it's like. Now, I'm going to let you know, this is the first time I've ever had the Taddy Porter from Samuel Smith. I have looked at it like this, just like that. But I never pulled the trigger. So, this is going to be a first for me. Let's sniff it up. Not getting much of an odor off of it. I mean, a little bit of, just the grain, but not that much. Oh, and the head's getting sort of creamy. Looks good. I'm gonna go in. See what it's like. Ooh, that is all grain. They said it had a dry finish. It is definitely a dry finish. This is not sweet in the least bit. It is very smoky. The roast on the grains is the most prevalent flavor, but it is not a overpowering flavor. It's nice and regulated, if you will. It's not like trying to overwhelm me. So let's go back in. It is. It's a classic porter. It really is. You could taste, you know, the malts that they put in there. None of them are overpowering. They're all very nicely blended together. Okay, so on that swallow, I held it just a little bit, see what it was going to do. While holding it there, it was sort of inert. I moved it in my mouth just a tiny bit, and bursts of flavor came from the two sides of my mouth at the back, rather than the back of the tongue like it usually does, which sort of threw me off. So I'm going to go back in, see if that effect is repeated. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's really good, and it's got a like bright, slightly bitterness to it. Not too crazy though. The grains have been roasted nicely, which always makes a beer pretty mellow. Yeah, that's a nice porter. I've had quite a few good porters and stouts lately, and I have no objection to that. Woo, 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 woo. So, um, I'm happy with this Taddy Porter from Samuel Smith, and I will probably hang out down here in the brew room to finish it. So I just noticed that the cork basket from yesterday's beer is still sitting on the table here. What a pig I am! God. I also slightly elevated the camera so that you guys could see why I refer to this guy as Jack. Obviously, he's a jackalope. So, um, let's answer the questions. Samuel Smith's Old Brewery Tadcaster Taddy Porter, the famous Taddy Porter. If I saw this in the store again, would I pick it up? Yes, I do like this porter. It's tasty. I also know that if it was in my wherewithal, I would be purchasing this for friends as well. Uh, another fine porter to share with my porter crew, my porter stout crew. So, um, if someone handed that to me at a party, oh, I would be very happy. Yes, yes, so very happy. Oh, go back in. It's not a burpy beer. I'm not getting that, where I've got to pause a little bit, try to slip some gas out. So it's not very effervescent, but that is part of the nature of porters, because a lot of the sugar is consumed in the roasting of the grain. So anyway, if you liked what I did here today, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. So uh, share it with some beer friends of yours. I I just would love to let more folks know about some of these awesome beers that I'm finding at the liquor stores. I imagine some folks walk through those stores and they want to try it, but they also don't want to spend the money on something that's not going to make them happy, you know? So I think I'm doing sort of a service here, where I'm teaching folks what to expect. Um, I think I might start mixing in some standard beers, ones that are more common, so that folks know what my taste buds are like, so they can compare them to their own. But that's probably not going to happen for another 25 days. Why is that? Because tomorrow, baby, is the Advent beer calendar. The start of the Advent beer calendar with Big Tall Paul bagging up 25 separate beers. Usually it's only 24, but he put a Christmas beer in there and he told me that I had to save it for the end, which I don't object to that. I've always been that guy who can delay gratification. So I'm going to take my leave of you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the start of the fabulous Advent beer calendar. Thanks.